All right. So this is how a very brief tutorial on how to use game effects. This is a very broad topic um, because you can do a lot of different things with it. Um, the use case that I'm trying to figure out is create when you create an HQ, or actually, let's do it when you create like any kind of building. Like when you create like a habitat, we want to spawn some workers. So let's go ahead and look at habitat. Let's look for ID habitat. Uh, oh, I have an extra quote in there. So habitat. What we want to do is we want to say when it's constructed, we want to execute a game effect. That's our use case here. So let's actually grab this, and we're gonna override the existing habitat. And so what we'd want to do here is, um, so something that's like I think maybe difficult to figure out is game effect. What game effects you have access to? But you can kind of just like search through this runtime JSON and know that okay, one of them is game effect spawn, and that's what we're going to be copying here. Um, let's look at this. So this looks like it spawns fell hogs. Okay, this is a little different than I thought it was. So this tutorial is going to be pretty scuffed. But I thought it would just actually. Is there a game effect create? There's a game effect create unit. That's kind of more of what I was thinking. So I guess game effect spawn is the infernal supply building tribute pyre uh, use case. Create unit is going to be when you create. It's just gonna when you create the building, it'll also spawn this. So let's go ahead and look for one that we'd like to use as an example. It really doesn't matter here. Let's do, I guess, paramedic create unit. And really just to test this, right? We don't even have to create this. We can just set this game effect as to happen when this is constructed. So now what we've done, right, is we've overridden the habitats on constructed behavior. So if we jump in here, when we create a habitat, it should spawn whatever paramedic is. It should execute this effect. I think it's the paramedic. It's the double med text from the campaign or something. But if we create this habitat here, it spawns us two medics. So it does that effect. And so, at a very base level, that's how you use effects. You kind of want to look for different ways to chain these together. And you can do that also by there's a game effect set, which is essentially you can group sets together, or group game effects together. So let's create our own game effect set here. Let's call it spawn workers set.json. We'll do that. Call it that, and then if you press up arrow in your control F, you can go up and down for your search history. And we're actually gonna well, yeah, this is fine. We can copy and paste this over and spawn. Well, the convention that I've noticed, right, is that it's like the unit type. So we can do worker create unit. Well, we do need this to be a JSON. I'm gonna paste that in, and we're gonna do that. We're gonna copy that name, and we're gonna make sure the ID. You always have to make sure the ID is the same. Right, and the unit we're gonna be doing here is worker, right? Because that is what Wait, why are we not able to find this? Oh, because the colon needs to come here. So worker, right? That's the name of a servo internally. So it's going to spawn, let's say 5 workers. I think you can probably ignore everything in here. It looks like everything here is fine. But we're gonna take this and we're gonna put it in our set. Let's say we also wanted to create some gunners. Let's create some gunner 2s, right? I'm gonna copy and paste this. Say gunner 2, and do that, and make sure to always change the ID. And gunner 2 is the name of the unit, right? It's the ID of the unit that we created in a previous tutorial. Yeah, right. So this is the ID. Oops, this file here. So we're gonna spawn 5 gunner 2s. And we're gonna use this ID. This is the game effect, right? We're gonna go back to our set, our game effect set, and we're gonna add that as well. And with this set, we're gonna change this. So on constructed, all right, for when the habitat's constructed, we're gonna do that spawn workers. So there's a lot you can do with game effects. It's also how damage is dealt. It's how, you know, abilities are casted, how you send like a projectile. So this is a very broad topic, but this is one use case, right? So we've spawned a bunch of gunners, spawn a bunch of servos. Yeah. So I think that should be the tutorial. I guess I can include these files in the description somewhere. That's usually what people do in these such kinds of tutorials. But yeah, cool. Thanks for watching.